What is good, y'all? Welcome back to the year, bro. Welcome back to a brand new video, man. We are here. We are back with a brand new video for you guys. Recapping this Memphis Grizzlies and Miami Heat atrocity that we just witnessed. It was a terrible game, and every game I feel like I'm saying it's the worst loss of the year, but this definitely feels like it because we're playing against a team that is missing 9 to 10 starters, bro. This team is so bad in some of these aspects. Like, we have to address that. Like, there are so many issues that I'm seeing with this team. I'm not trying to overreact. You know, none of this is Terry Rozier's fault, by the way. I don't want people to think that Terry Rozier is an issue or the trade was bad. Like, bro, it was one game. For anybody judging Terry Rozier or the trade after one game, you guys are delusional, casuals, whatever. He's not the issue at all. It's the team that's the issue right now. They just haven't been playing well. And, I mean, this game proved that Kyle Lowry wasn't the only issue on this team. Now, Kyle Lowry is certainly not somebody who I thought we should have kept, but there are a lot more issues on this team that we have to talk about. And obviously, inserting a guy like Terry Rozier into your lineup is tough. Mid-season acquisition, this guy was a 24 point per game scorer in Charlotte. He is a guy that is going to need the ball in his hands. And when you have to balance that out with the people you already have, it's not easy. But that is Spo's job to figure that out. Now, he came in tonight with the starting lineup of Tyler Herro, Josh Richardson, Jimmy, Highsmith, Bam. I was like, okay, I see the vision. I see what he's trying to do. I liked the idea of Rozier, you know, coming off the bench for his first game just to feel everything out. Eventually, I do want to see Rozier start. I do want to see him start. But I thought, like, that starting lineup played terribly together, especially offensively. I thought defensively they played well, but offensively, it was just an absolute clown fest. Not just from the starting lineup, from the bench too. Like, it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. And the thing that we have to look at, there's a lot of things I want to get to. Like, this video is going to be like, it's not going to be like extremely long, but it's going to be fairly lengthy where we talk about every single player, dissect what they have to do better and what Spo has to do better, because a lot of this is on him too. Now, again, leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let's just get right into it. Now, we'll get Terry Rozier's debut out of the way. I thought he showed some flashes of, you know, what he could do in a Heat uniform. He is a very dynamic scorer, and we saw that at times. He missed shots, but I never really get on players for missing shots. I rarely do that. Like, I think that that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. Like, oh, he missed shots, so he's bad. Like, no, it's not like that at all. The shots he missed were very good looks, and he usually makes those shots 9 times out of 10. It's not anything, to worry about, in my opinion. I think the main thing to worry about is his usage, and the fact that Spoelstra was using him as an off-ball player more than anything in this game, and that is just not how to use Terry Rozier. Now, Terry Rozier is a lot of things, but one thing that he is not is a catch-and-shoot player. He has shot 30% on catch-and-shoot three-point attempts this year. 30%. I mean, that is disgusting. That is terrible. And the fact that we're using this man as a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter from one game at least is very head-scratching to me. The fact that we didn't give this guy the ball, because that's when he is at his best. And for people who haven't watched Herro Rozier in Charlotte, go watch some games. This guy will take a lot of tough shots. You know, he's a tough shot maker. He's a guy who can ignite your team. He's a very dynamic scorer. He can score at all 3 levels. He just needs the ball in his hands to do so. You know, he's not a player who's going to be at his best when he's off the ball. And that is the problem, because catch and shoot wise, he's just not the best player. And we saw that he was missing a lot of looks in the corner because he just isn't used to shooting those shots. So I don't blame him at all. I mean, he did what he could. He showed flashes down the stretch. He had a couple of nice drives. That pass to Caleb down the stretch when Caleb cut the lead to 4 or whatever, or with that 3. That was a good drive and kick by him, and that's why he needs the ball in his hands, because he can do that. He can set up people with his athleticism. He can get past people very easily. I mean, we saw that tonight. The rim pressure from Terry Rozier was there. He was missing some layups here and there, but the rim pressure that we have been missing all year was there. So I do want to say there are some positives from having this guy on our team. He will definitely help with the rim pressure. He will help with the fact that we could use another dynamic scorer, but he has to be used correctly for all that to happen. You can't play a guy who is a very good driver and a very good scorer and have him play entirely off the ball. I mean, he was setting screens out there at points in this game. And I was like, what is he doing? Now, again, this is not his fault. He just literally just landed in Miami like less than 24 hours ago. So I'm assuming and I'm hoping that the team can use him a lot better than what they did tonight. But I definitely think that going forward, he should be not just the starting point guard, but he should be the one handling the ball the most. Let's come to some of these other guys because we have a lot of players to get to. Bam Adebayo. I thought Bam Adebayo was excellent defensively. Defensively on Jaren, he locked him up like he always does, and he had 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 blocks. Like very good all around game. But the only problem that I have with Bam, which is not really a big issue because I just said I don't really get on players for missing shots, was he was missing a lot of mid-range jumpers. Again, this is like one of the last things that I'm concerned about because missed shots tend to happen. It's whatever. Like you can't really control shots going in and out. You just shoot them, and he was shooting them, which I give him credit for because aggressiveness has always been his issue in the past. He's shooting the shots at least that he usually shoots. So the fact that they didn't go in, it's just a night that just didn't go in. You can't really like do much about that besides just keep shooting and just hope that they go in the next game. So yeah, he just has to stay aggressive, make faster decisions. I think he missed a couple of guys on cuts, but I thought he had a pretty solid game. Jimmy Butler, I thought was terrible tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was the worst player for in the starting lineup, besides Josh Richardson. I'm talking about the big three and Terry, and the big three, not Terry. The big three, Jimmy was easily the worst one out there. And it's frustrating because you know he can do a lot better, but it's the regular season, so he's not gonna take it as seriously. But it sometimes kills us, bro, because you know the opposing team will just play off of him because they'll be like, okay, he's not going to shoot the ball that well, and he's not going to take it too seriously. We can just play off of him. He has to do better. I'm not asking for 25 points tonight. I'm just asking for 20. Like 15 is unacceptable from Jimmy. I'm sorry. The shot attempts have to be higher because when he shoots, they normally go in. And yeah, he just has to be more aggressive. Like plain and simple, 15 points is terrible, especially if you're not going to be aggressive at the beginning. If you see your team struggling, that's when the best player has to take their Superman cape on and just will them to victory. And that's what he has to do. And he's done that in the playoffs so many times, but obviously the regular season is just not his thing. But it is detrimenting. It is being a detriment to us right now because we've lost 4 straight, and Jimmy's field goal attempts have been terrible as far as in my standard for all 4 of those games. And I think he has to shoot way more. And whether it's whenever it is, I just think, especially when you're losing, you have to give the ball to your best player, and he has to make stuff happen. When you're winning, it's cool. I'm fine with you coasting when we're doing well, or we don't need you to be playoff Jimmy. But when we're not, when we're struggling to create offensive looks and opportunities, like you just have to drive and just draw a foul or just put your head down and just make a play, because that's what you're here for. That's what you're the best player on this team. So my only issue with Jimmy has always been the same. It's just the aggressiveness, and it's just the energy. He just didn't have it tonight. Like I don't know if he was just sad about Lowry being gone. Like I don't know what it was, but he just didn't have the energy that he usually has. He wasn't the best defensively tonight. Like I just didn't really see that same fire that he usually plays with. Even if he's not taking all those shots, like he still finds a way to impact the game. He was just very, very lethargic tonight for some reason. I don't know why, but he definitely needs to get back to his old self. And I'm not asking for playoff Jimmy right now. I'm asking for Jimmy who plays usually very well in the regular season, all-star caliber player, 22 points a night, like that type of production. I'm just asking Jimmy to do that much. Tyler Herro. Listen, Tyler kept us in it for a lot of the third quarter and made a couple of big shots, but I just wasn't pleased with his overall game. It's not Tyler's fault necessarily that I wasn't pleased with it. Well, the turnovers are, like, you can't have 5 turnovers in the game. I don't care who you are. Like, that just shows you that he's not a point guard. And that is what I've been saying for so long, is that we're using this guy and we're forcing this guy to be a point guard when he's not a point guard. And I thought we already recognized this in 2021 when we started him at point guard, and we're doing it again. Like, this guy is not a 1. He's not the ball handler. He's not the decision maker. and he's not the playmaker that's needed to be a point guard in this league, which is completely okay, because he was not drafted to be a point guard. He was drafted to be a 2. But for some reason, we're so obsessed with playing him as a 1 that it's messing up the whole team. I feel really, really bad for the kid, bro, because he is at his best when he's off the ball. I don't care what anybody says. I've watched this guy for so long. When he is off the ball, the team is better. He is better. The shots are falling. The ball is not sticking, because the ball was sticking a lot to him in this game. And I don't want to say he was hogging the ball, because I'm not going to make that accusation. I'm just saying the ball was sticking, and that's it. Whether that's on him, the team, they have to figure that out. But the bottom line is, I don't think he should be the starting point guard of this team. You either play him at the 2 or you bring him off the bench. And I honestly would bring him off the bench, because that's when this team is at its best. Coming off the bench is not a bad thing. I don't know why people think it's a knock to come off the bench. Manu Ginobili's a Hall of Fame player who came off the bench for majority of his career. Like, coming off the bench is not a bad thing at all. He won 6th Man of the Year. He put up 20 points a night off the bench. That's why we were so dangerous in 2022. So dangerous in 2022. And, you know, we saw the struggles last year where he was starting too. And in the playoffs, when we had an off-ball player like Strus replace him, it benefited the team because the ball wasn't sticking to one player. And it's not just Tyler, because there's a saying called "too many chefs in the kitchen." You know what I'm saying? Like, that saying exists, and that saying is real, especially for NBA teams. It's cool to have 4 20-point per game scorers on this team, but they all can't be on the floor at the same time. You have to space them out. Look at the Clippers. Look at the Clippers, what they did. And again, I'm not saying Tyler Herro has to be like, oh, I'm making the sacrifice where I'm not saying he has to do what Russell Westbrook did, because Russell Westbrook is past his prime, and he's doing what he can to win a ring because he's very old. I understand why Tyler wants to start. He is entering the prime of his career. It's not the same situation at all. But I think the team would benefit a lot if he, decided to come off the bench, or if he decided to play off the ball. Now, if he's starting and if he's playing off the ball, I have no problem with him starting. But I think he wants to have the ball in his hands. It's very apparent that he does. And he's a talented player. He's not a Duncan Robinson who doesn't, because obviously Duncan Robinson is a movement shooter and he doesn't really handle the ball at all. But Tyler can put the ball on the floor at times. I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm just saying he's not what's needed to be a point guard in this league. You can't force a guy to play point guard when he's not a point guard. You know what I'm saying? So I just didn't like the fact that he had the ball so much. And again, nothing to do with him. Like, he scored 18 points. Like, he had a decent game, but the turnovers killed us. And the fact that the ball was sticking so much meant that guys like Rozier and Jimmy and everybody else were just sitting in the corner. And you can't have those guys do that, because they can't play as well off the ball as you, Tyler. So Tyler has that. It's kind of like, because again, I don't want people taking this the wrong way, because we have a lot of sensitive fans, bro, who will take what you say and be like, oh, this guy's a hater. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not hating on Tyler. He plays a lot better off the ball than Jimmy and Terry. Terry and Jimmy play a lot better on the ball than Tyler. It's like superpowers, if you want to put it that way. Tyler's superpower, in my opinion, is his ability to play off the ball. And he is probably the best on the team at doing that besides Duncan. So why are we not utilizing to his strengths, and why are we playing him on the ball and playing Terry Rozier off the ball? You know what I'm saying? It's very simple. It's not rocket science. It's super, super simple. Rozier should be starting at the 1, and either Duncan Robinson or Tyler Herro, an off-the-ball version of Tyler Herro, should be starting at the 2. And that's it. I don't want to hear anything else, because I've seen enough of Tyler at the 1, and it's killing us. The turnovers, there's no flow, there's no rhythm. We can't get our offense organized, and it's because this guy is dribbling the ball up the court, and he's not a point guard. So play him either coming off the bench, where he thrived for us, where he averaged 20 points a night, or play him as a two guard who's going to be a guy who's going to be playing next to a Terry Rozier off the ball. Because Terry Rozier with the ball in his hands will make things happen. And Tyler Herro off the ball will make things happen. And that's what it should be. That's what it should be going forward. Coming to Haywood Highsmith, I thought Haywood Highsmith was pretty good defensively, and I thought he provided some energy. But offensively, it's a struggle at times with him. I thought Caleb provided a very big spark off the bench. I would stick with Highsmith for the defense because I think he really, really did a good job defensively. And if he's able to knock that three-point shot consistently, because he did have a couple of times where he was shooting that ball really well. The only problem with him is the offense sometimes can just get very, very lackluster. But I would definitely rather him start than Caleb, just because Caleb off the bench is very, very, I think, very, very useful for this team. And also, Caleb is not as good of a defender as Highsmith. Jay Rich, I think I don't want to see Jay Rich in the starting lineup anymore. I'm sorry. I like Jay Rich. He's a good guy. He's obviously Rook 2 is very, very beloved in this fan base, but just looking at basketball, Jay Rich is just not it to be the starting shooting guard or the point guard of this team. I think he should be coming off the bench as a connector, playing spot minutes here and there. I don't think he should be getting a tremendous amount of minutes on this team. He can cut, he can slash, and I think that's all he should be doing. I don't think he should be shooting threes because he's not a good three-point shooter, and I don't think he should be trying to handle the ball because I just don't trust him to do that either. Maybe off the bench, I think that maybe off the bench he can be that backup PG, like if Tyler and Terry start, but starting, no. I just don't want to see him. I don't want to see him start. I think the starting lineup going forward should be. I think that it should be Terry, and I think it should be either Duncan or Tyler. And Duncan was playing phenomenal without the ball in this game. He was cutting, he was moving, he was hitting threes. He only had 7 points, but if you look at if you look at the game, like Duncan, when we made that run in the fourth, he was the main catalyst in my opinion. So, listen. It's not rocket science. Anybody who watched that game can recognize the fact that you need guys who will buy in to be playing off the ball in your starting lineup next to Terry Rozier, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. And Haywood Highsmith will play off the ball because obviously that's his role. Like he's not really going to ask to play on the ball. Herro will want to play on the ball because he's very talented and he will feel like he's in that upper echelon of guards, which he has every right to feel that way, but it's all about the team. You have to sacrifice for the team, and if it means you have to come off the bench and score 20 a night, then you embrace that role because that's a very, very coveted role in this league. If it means you play like a Klay Thompson, which is what Zach Lowe said on his podcast, play more like a Klay Thompson and handle the ball a little bit, but primarily come off the ball. You don't have to just catch and shoot, but I'm not saying that he has to be doing catch and shoot shots the whole time, but he should be playing more off the ball, and that's that. I hope Kevin Love gets better soon. That's the last thing I'm going to say about this game. I saw that he had an illness, and that's why he didn't return to the game. And I'm also not intrigued, but I'm also just puzzled, or I don't know, surprised that Nikola Jovic doesn't get any minutes after he's been playing pretty well. But again, some could say, where would the minutes come from? Highsmith and Martin were getting the minutes, so I think they should get minutes. But I'm surprised Spo didn't go to him when Kevin Love was out. I'm surprised he went to Thomas Bryant instead of Jovic. But yeah, I mean, that's basically all I have to say about this game, man. I think a lot of issues boil down to what I just said. It's the fit of this team. It's the fit of the starting lineup. It's how the team has these guys being used, and they have to fix that ASAP because the issue is not the talent. And maybe a trade is also needed. Like if you can get like a Dorian Finney-Smith, that would be great. But that's not going to fix your issues with the guard position until you make that change and insert Terry Rozier as the starting point guard, which I think he will start from now on. I don't think Spo's going to keep bringing him off the bench. I think this was just a one-time thing because he was a new player getting acclimated to the team, and he was literally just fresh off a flight from Charlotte to Miami. But I think next to him, you need to have an off-ball Tyler, or you need to have a Duncan with Tyler coming off the bench. And I think that's when this team is going to be at its best. Can't wait for Jaime to be back against Boston, maybe tomorrow. But can't wait for that game. Boston's a big game. Hopefully we'll win that game and bounce back. And yeah, I'll see you later as always, man. Have a nice day.